Hello everyone. It's James again. And today I wanted to make a special video. And I wasn't sure what I was going to title this one. And all of the information I was going to put into it. Because there are a lot of subtopics that go along with what I'm about to say. So this video might be long. There might be several parts to it in the future. I don't know. We'll see what happens here. That being said, this topic, which is the relationship between narcissistic abuse and hypergamy, is very important. And I know I have a lot of female viewers. Just like I have a lot of male viewers. And to my female viewers, though you may think this doesn't apply to you, it does. Because for one, I'm pretty sure you know a male in your life. Whether it's a brother or son that can benefit from such information. And secondly, the brainwashing that happens to both men and women at a constant rate is almost impossible to get away from. And sadly, the brainwashing that has been done to women teaches what I'm about ready to talk about today. So though you might not be a narcissist, and you might have a good heart, it's entirely possible you might have done some of the things discussed here today based on what society told you was not only acceptable but something you should strive for. And when you can look at these facts openly and honestly, you can better understand what's going on in the world around you, and make changes for the better, which might allow you to meet a decent man. Because though many of us, both men and women, went through horrible experiences as children, dealing with narcissist parents or a parent, and then as an adult dealing with a narcissist spouse, I believe if we make some key changes in both the sexes in how we see and go about things, it's entirely possible for good people to meet. And here's the key. For us to stay together. Because ladies, I am telling you, this programming that is done to you is strong. And its main goal is to get you to drop a good man in the dust. Now, with that being said, what's the relationship between narcissistic abuse and hypergamy? Well, the first thing one needs to know is, what is hypergamy? The definition of hypergamy is as follows. The action of marrying a person of a superior caste or class. What this looks like is, if a woman is making $50,000 a year, she's looking to meet a man that is making $100,000 a year. Let me back up a second. A while back, I did a video about Prince the entertainer that passed away, being a possible victim of childhood narcissistic abuse. I talked quite a bit about the documentary you can probably find online called The Prince Story. Icon. Genius. Slave. And since that video was about narcissist childhood abuse, I didn't mention what I'm going to mention now about this documentary. At least I don't think I did. But there's a small clip where a friend of his recalls when Prince got his record deal, and he and Prince were walking by a group of girls, and they were saying, "Hey Prince," and flirting with him. And Prince leaned over to his friend and said, "Just last month, or whatever the time frame was, these women wouldn't even talk to me." Tupac in an interview mentioned this as well. That he found it strange how all of a sudden he was the cutest man around to women. But the week before he couldn't get a date at all. And Tupac is recognized in the category of a James Dean Prince. Women swoon over him even though he's gone. And when he was living, women would pass out at his concerts. Brad Pitt, same thing. He had a real embarrassing job standing in front of a fast food chain, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe he wore a funny outfit to promote the fast food chain. And women found it beneath them. But this same man was put on the cover of, I think it was People's Sexiest Man Alive. How is this possible? It's possible because of hypergamy. Money and power. Let's face it. If Prince groomed himself the same way, but in normal street clothes and worked at McDonald's drive-through window, there's no woman that would be passing out in the drive-through just to date him. Was Prince a handsome man? Yes. Was Tupac a handsome man? Yes. And the same with Brad Pitt. And the list goes on and on. Heck, Elvis was seen as a weirdo by many of his peers when he was young. But he maybe a year or two later was getting mobbed and his clothes torn off of him. And what it comes down to is power. And money. Ladies. And gentlemen. Though I know the gentlemen know what I'm about to say. There are tons of good looking. Not just good looking. But Hollywood good looking men. That are kind. Decent. Have moralful hearts. And are hard working. They just don't make a six-figure income. And somehow that reduces their value to the woman they might be dating at the time. If they are dating at all. And sadly if they are dating. Because of his status and income. Society tells this woman that treating him a certain way because of what he doesn't have is not only acceptable. It's her given right to do so. And she needs to always be scanning and looking for someone that's the next level up. And how this relates to narcissistic abuse is. Think about the narcissist you were with. Their goal might have been money. Yes. But mainly it was narcissistic supply. To destroy you bit by bit. And savor the moments of your pain. Until nothing's left. Then trade you up like you never mattered at all. For a better piece of narcissistic supply. Well, women are by and large in our society told to do this very thing when dating or even when they are married to a man. They are told keep scanning and looking for the next level up. Now this goes into that subcategory I talked about at the beginning of this video. And heck, I might repeat myself in the future in another video. But it is what it is. Women in our society are told it's their right to change their mind at any time about anything. And not be held responsible for the fallout or damage that is caused by such actions. A woman can tell a man everything he wants to hear. Marry this man. Complain 5 years into the marriage he doesn't make enough money. And leave this man of her dreams. For a man that is making twice his income. And this goes into a second subcategory. And I'm sure I will repeat myself in a future video on this one. But trust me, it needs to be talked about a lot. There's an old saying. Women mature faster than men. Have you heard that one? Well, they aren't saying that women act more sophisticated and grown up than men at an early age. Nope. That's not what is being said. Because watch a lot of videos, ladies. Of other ladies dealing with men. And it's anything but grown up. But what's implied here? And this is a gem that's very important. What's being implied here is women get the game of life at an early age. The average man doesn't even know a game is being played. And the game is get as much stuff as you can. And retire young. And don't work hard doing it. And at first this was something that was seen as for women that were a 10 out of 10 in the looks category. But the feminist model has reshaped the legal and societal system and set up that virtually any woman can take advantage of this if they so desire. And yes, I know many of you on my channel are good women. And many of you got caught up in a nasty relationship with a narcissist man. And you were honest and did the right things and got burned. But you have to think a moment. The true feminist has no sympathy for you. Because in their minds you weren't smart enough to use their crooked template they set in motion for you to use. And if you didn't use all of the things they set up for you, and you ended up in trouble, they feel like, too bad, so sad. Ladies, this is very real. And I think deep down inside you know what I'm saying is true. There is a game going on in life. Just like Monopoly. And young girls figure this out rather quickly while their male counterparts have no idea what's going on by and large. And women start this manipulation of their male counterparts from day one. Without knowing anything about narcissism. Or narcissistic abuse. Because society says it's normal. And there's nothing to feel bad about. And those that resist some of this programming might find themselves on a job in their early 20s. A job that's dead end. Maybe they are going to college. Maybe they aren't. but here they are dating the man of their dreams. And he works a job similar in pay to hers. And for all intents and purposes they are happy. Or so the man thinks. No real narcissistic abuse going on here yet. The man is hard working. And trying to better himself but finding things a bit hard to get where he's wanting to go. But no way. His woman would never leave him. She's ride or die right. But one day out of the blue, she looks at him with a stone face and says, "I'm leaving you. There's someone else. And I don't love you anymore." Just like that. Several years down the drain. But what happened? What transpired? Hypergamy transpired. This woman sat and thought about it. I can stay with someone I love. And be broke and have to work hard my entire life. Or I can leave and be with someone I hardly know and be able to take a trip around the world and live in a nice house. And very quickly the choice is made. And in many if not most of these situations, there is massive amounts of projection and gaslighting about the facts. The woman makes the man out to be a failure in every way. And that the relationship coming to an end was his fault, not hers. And the list goes on and on. If you look at the way a hypergamist woman in our society goes from man to man, it's literally no different from how the narcissist, be it male or female, goes from victim to victim. But the sad part is hypergamy is taught to be a normal part of our society for women. And a part of the game of life they must play. And the game they must keep men in the dark about at all costs. And that's why you hear women mature faster than men. That's exactly why. Because they get the game of life. They learned how to get to the end of the finish line faster and easier. And they know how to separate their emotions from the end goal. I'm sure some of these women think deep down inside they love someone. But the minute that hypergamy programming kicks back in, it completely and utterly overrides any feeling of love she had for the man in her life. And like I said, this was seen as the classic gold digger's way of life. The 10 out of 10. But that's not the case today. Feminism has now made this way of life available to the completely unattractive, or what our society says unattractive is. Here's an example. If you go on any dating website and look at the women that are posting ads, most of them are, sad to say, in poor shape. They are overweight. And I don't say this to be mean. I'm just pointing this out. They have several children. But they have more demands and requirements that will literally blow your mind. And here's the problem. Because how backwards things have gone. These women get hundreds of messages a day. So they can literally pick the man they want. The man that has the most money to take. Because feminism doesn't teach. Meet a good man that has money. Treat him well and live happily ever after. It teaches. Take his money. And move on to the next one and the next one and the next one. Sounds just like the narcissist in your life, right? Very, very similar. This is where you see a very attractive woman holding hands with a man that's not attractive at all. But then you might meet a man at your work and are shocked has no girlfriend. Here's this handsome man. With a great personality. Nice to everyone. Good heart. And you think, wow. What a handsome man. I bet all the women are beating down his door. Well, I have news for you. No one was beating down Prince's door. Or Tupac's door. Or Brad Pitt's door until they became rich and powerful. Now this isn't to say they didn't have lucky periods in their life early on. Every good-looking man usually has a few periods where things work out. But most good-looking men will tell you they were left by their longtime girlfriend or wife for a man that made more money. It all boils down to hypergamy and the game of life women are taught from the moment they can walk and talk. Seriously. Think about where we teach others to value one another in our society. This is a predatory world. A predatory world where the feminists write the rules. And the rules are keep men in the dark about the game of life. And teach women through movies, television, music, and word of mouth that men's only value is to do for a woman. and it's her right to ditch him if a better opportunity comes along. This is important because this is the reason why families can't stay together. And I truly think there are good women that do this because it's the only thing they know, because they were just programmed that way. And trust me, when the hypergamy mess comes out in the relationship, the man that is the victim gets narcissistically abused and smear campaign to save this woman's good name. It's a mercenary approach. It's either him or me. And these women, since they were children, learned it's okay to say and do whatever they want, even if it's a lie, as long as they come out on top. And this affects good women. Because trust me, the good men you would be compatible with are caught in this horrible never-ending abusive loop. And once they get out of this cycle and they finally mature up, as we talked about before, and realize what the game of life is, they want nothing more to do with it. This also applies in your life if you have a son, or grandson, or brother. Hypergamy is narcissistic abuse that is boxed and packaged to seem like it's a normal part of our society. And all it does is destroy good people. I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be with someone successful. But to be with someone just because they are successful and trade in someone you said you wanted to be with till death do you part just because of money and status is complete and utter evil. But remember what our society says about that. Women are allowed to change their minds at any time. Think about how narcissistic that sounds. Think for a second. What the one thing narcissists hate with a passion? That's to admit they're wrong. They won't do it. And if they do, they put a spin on it that still allows them to not be held responsible. Well, what does it mean when we tell all the women in our society they can change their minds about anything they want at any time they want? It's telling them they don't ever have to be held accountable for doing something wrong to someone else. Well, I loved you for 4 years and just today I realized I changed my mind. Give me the rest of your money because this relationship gone wrong was all your fault, not mine. And I'm going to be with someone that makes me happy. Until she changes her mind about that guy. And it will repeat and repeat. Ladies, I encourage you to start talking about this openly and honestly with your sons, and your grandsons and your brothers, and with other women that you can tell are on the fence about doing the right or wrong thing. Because right now the dating pool has a big piece of poop floating in it that everyone wants to ignore. And that's feminism with the word hypergamy written all over it. Something to think about. And realize, ladies, I make these videos from my heart because I care about what's happening. And it kills me to see good people not able to make things work because the world places this evil upon them. It just makes me sick. But that's why this information must be shared. So I thank you in advance for sharing this and the rest of my videos. And others out there you like. I thank you for your subscription. I do want to do this full time. I do want to make a difference in the world. And the support you give my channel every day is keeping this dream alive. So to you I say thank you once again. And I also say, knowledge and wisdom is power. The more we know, the more we can lead happy and healthy lives. Until next time. Bye for now. And be good to yourself.